Innovation is at the core of Unravel's ecosystem. We constantly keep ourselves updated. There is learning every single day. You have to keep yourself on the foot. The learning never stops. Every engineering divisions in the world has to get updated by themselves. We are basically talking about how to bring value to the customers in terms of what their observability is there in their platform, saving the cost at the same time deriving their business value around it. Right? How Unravel can also be a part of the newer technology ecosystem. So both of these can go hand in hand. So there can be 100 tools, but the drivers are about our customers. We still go by each data platform: Snowflake, Databricks, EMR, Dataproc, GCP, and like Hadoop.
Hi, Namaste, welcome to ITTV, the voice of IT industry. Today we are with Mr. Praveen. He heads the engineering department from Unravel, which is dealing with the data science and offering many products related to the data, AI and machine learning. And today, before we are asking about recent innovations in data science and innovations from Unravel and future changes, we welcome Mr. Praveen. Hello sir, welcome to ITTV. So before we discuss or exploring in detail about these innovations in the data science, please introduce yourselves.
So hi, my name is Praveen Kannan. I head the engineering in Unravel, basically focusing on product development and engineering. I am based out of Bay Area, California. I work in Unravel in the headquarters in Palo Alto.
So you being a head of engineering department, so how do you train your team, because the technology is changing very fast. So how you are make sure that your team is up to date?
Sure. At Unravel, across the board, innovation is at the core of Unravel's ecosystem. Our product itself is cutting edge. It is going at the same pace as all the technology around data that the ecosystem is growing in. So when you speak about the talent and engineering within Unravel, we constantly keep ourselves updated. There is learning every single day, and one way is to just go after the newer technologies that's coming in. The other way is to just proactively understand the change in market landscape and then keep adapting to that. So that in a nutshell shares about how we would keep the innovation in place. But there are many ways, like there is courses, there is a lot of online courses, there is certifications that we go through, and we also work, in addition to these theoretical certifications, we work directly with our customers. We understand the real world problems, and we have like direct experience into these technologies. So that's how we keep our balance into the innovation.
In general, it is very common that there will be a resistance for a change, resistance to learn, resistance to transform. So how do you handle those situations?
Very good question. Yes, there is always like it all talks about the inertia, right? Like when you agree and accept with the status quo, then you feel like, okay, this is good enough, and you feel comfortable. The key part to these things is to first understand that you have to keep yourself on the foot. The learning never stops. This is something which we feel like only in the software industry that we feel like we need to keep updating. But think about medical industry, think about pharma, think about like constructions. They all keep updating. Every engineering divisions in the world has to get updated by themselves. So is software. Software is no different. We're still engineering at core, and technologies keep changing, and you can see how from 90s to 2000s and the advent of the internet and then mobile, and now we're talking about AI. There is this thing. Only thing that is constant here is change. So as a culture within Unravel, one of the things we talk about is the change, right? Once we have that as part of our culture, then this inertia comes out, and people look at each other and they make these learning
motivated by each other.
Yes.
So what kind of innovative solutions or innovative products come up from the Unravel?
So the question is about what kind of innovative products we have at Unravel, right? So basically, so the first thing we do is we want to have our presence in all data platforms that's out there, and come up with our observability solutions operating those data platforms, bringing delight to the customers. At the core of it, we want to make sure that the customers run their jobs efficiently, but at the same time do not blow away the cost. One of the biggest concerns in the industry, and quite recently it has become even bigger and bigger, is the cost of running the data workloads in cloud. And the cloud cost has become the number one conversation at any large companies that's having data ecosystem. The innovation that we do at Unravel is to make sure that in any different kind of platform that each customers have, we work on an observability solution, provide that insights, and a part of that, the way in which we do that is to bring in, like, apply artificial intelligence. We are now talking about ML, the time of ML. We've already had our algorithms, which are like machine learning based algorithms that is put in play. That's how we are actually even providing insights to the customers. Now with the newer things, newer technologies like ChatGPT and large language models, we are also seeing how we can use those into Unravel, and how Unravel can also be a part of the newer technology ecosystem. So both of these go hand in hand.
Nowadays, technology is changing very rapidly. Every day, new tools are coming to handle the data engineering part and data science part. So, the change is inevitable. So, how do you manage, like, your teams?
That's a good question. So there is, if you see the number of solutions around data ecosystem in the modern data stack has pretty much grown. Like, it probably in 1990, in the 2010s to 20s to 2020s now onwards, like, it's pretty much grown like 3x to 4x, right? And you see a lot of newer tools coming in play, and it's at the point where we're not able to even keep up with the newer tools around it. So our goal is to go back to our first principles, think about what exactly is required for us to move into this industry. There are many tools that come into the innovation landscape. We constantly upgrade ourselves with the innovation side of things, where we do POCs, we try within Unravel on trying the newer technologies around it. But we go back to understanding what exactly are our customers using. So there can be 100 tools, but the drivers are about our customers, right? What do they use? What are the technologies they're getting into? We have engagement with these customers to talk about what their roadmap is. And then we bring those things back, work with our product team, work with our across the leadership. We figure out what is really needed, where we can actually bring real good value to the customers. And that's where that is a prioritization work we do. And then we take it from there.
Coming to your customers, so what do they expect from you, and what kind of services you provide?
Okay, so we can answer in a couple of different ways. The first thing is what kind of services. Unravel in itself right now is traditionally being deployed in the form of like an install base into customers' ecosystem, right? Like their hardware, their data center, or their cloud deployment, we install Unravel into their world. We are also going into the world of SaaS, where we provide it as a live cloud deployment, and we'll build accounts and workspaces for every customer, and then we can use it as a cloud deployment. So we are getting into the second world as well. So that's one way of offering. The second thing is our main approach to actually seeing Unravel and its use cases by verticals. We still go by each data platform: Snowflake, Databricks, EMR, Dataproc, GCP, and like Hadoop classically, right? So we make sure that in each of these product lines, we ensure Unravel provides its complete core value into this. The second part of your question is how do we ensure how do we make sure that there's a business success around it, right? There are two parts of it. We constantly hear from customers. As Shivnath said, the one thing is to release a product. Another thing is to actually ensure they're actually using the product. So we are changing the game in which we want to do our product development style, where not only do we want to deliver it as a product, we also want to make sure that Unravel is part of their solution ecosystem, which means we will go by use cases. We even go to ensure that we have these dialogues with each customer, understand their use cases, tailor make our product for fitting into their operations ecosystem, and bring the business value around it.
Yeah, even though, however, you provide the tailor-made solutions, not only you, for any company, the customer's expectations and the real solution, there will be always gap. How do you manage or how do you handle?
Yes. So yes, there is always challenge around it. So like any software, even Unravel also goes through those challenges. Needless to say, these technologies are new, and they are also, companies are itself innovating. They are also going into cloud or Kubernetes. They are learning along the way. They are figuring out what works and what doesn't work. And if you look at how Unravel will play a role on top of that, our concerns will only be compounding. So there are a couple of approaches. We want to make sure that Unravel fits into the ecosystem well. So that is the problem number one. Second is the product itself. What do we offer in terms of Unravel? Are we handling the use cases fine? So that is about features, about their data, understanding their financial pieces around it. Now that we are all going into the AI world, so we are understanding what does it mean to each company. AI means very different to each company. So we try to understand what does it mean to you. Are you thinking about value addition, or are you actually going to use AI for bringing revenue? So based on that, we actually tailor our product as well. So that's the approach we follow.
So through understanding their requirement, you will try to manage the gap.
There will be gap analysis. We always work around it. So there is two parts to it. One is delivery of the software, which goes through an exercise, and there is a feedback loop. The other thing is where Giri's team excels in, where we have constant feedback cycle. We've even done like monthly madness with we call it as monthly madness, but it's basically a way of engaging consistently with customers on a monthly basis and understanding what the summarization of what their problems are, or where they like us, and double down on that. So that's the way in which we ensure that the gap, if it's there, we try to narrow down the gap.
With the effective feedback system in place, or
yes,
because of that you can try to reduce the gap.
Right, and the innovation comes through. So we've seen certain concerns from the customers or certain issues that they've raised actually led to us going back to our drawing board. Instead of just fixing the problem, we go back and ask fundamental question: was this related to our use case? How about we just provide a particular kind of feature? Like we have this concept of Unity apps, which is basically like think of App Store, where we are actually creating custom apps. Unravel can also do the same thing. If a customer has a very unique kind of problem statement, instead of baking that as a part of product features, for that particular customer, we can deliver a Unity app which is exclusive for that customer.
So you are taking feedback into consideration for the innovation. So because basically that feedback may triggers you and your team to come up with the innovative solutions.
Yes.
So
and we also ensure that the team understands this cycle. So whenever there is customer issues, right? We can always go about solving customer issues. But one of the important pieces as part of Unravel's engineering culture that I'm emphasizing there is to understand what the customer is coming from. Where is this use case coming from? And we've even recently doing a lot of push around not just looking at a support bug as a support bug, to understand why they have this issue and what use case are they really solving. So we go back and fix the underlying problem, as opposed to just fixing a particular bug. We just go back and deliver a solution that would actually make them grow 10x faster.
Excellent, sir. So what are the future plans and vision of Unravel?
So I touched a little bit on the technology landscape that's changing. If you see the world of just SQL that was there in the 90s, to the vertical databases, and now you saw Hadoop-like softwares coming in, like Hadoop-like data platforms coming in, and now you see like modern data stack with like Snowflake and Databricks coming in. This always goes through like a cycle of like leap and bound change. One of the things that we want to do is to keep at the pace with these modern data stack. The current modern data stack, our CTO Shivnath had actually explained about the multitude of stack that we have to piecemeal to put together. And if you do a probability, there's so many combinations of how you can bring multiple stacks in any company. Our goal is to be consistent in across the stack when it comes to observability, and continue to deliver the promise on like how we can optimize the work, optimize the cost, at the same time make their workloads efficient. So that observability aspect which we deliver through these principles will continue to work towards it.
So what are your future plans to expand?
Yeah. So right now, most of my engineering team is in Bangalore, and there is a smaller unit of engineering team in Slovakia, in Europe. We have just started with one or two people in Hyderabad right now, and my goal is to be opportunistic, right? Like wherever there is talent, I'm ready to hire them. We are a truly global company. Right now, in-person office presence is all Bangalore and Hyderabad and Pune in India today. But we are generally like a very hybrid environment. So having said that, specifically to Hyderabad, there are two things that I see as a biggest opportunity for me. Hyderabad is having the talent pool on cloud and data, and the combination of software developers who are also data related software developers and data engineers, but the knowledge of cloud is essential to them. That's the mix that I'm really looking for. So that if you look at that combination, I'm actually very excited about the talent pool that Hyderabad has, and I'm definitely interested in seeing how I can actually double down my engineering here, at least in the next 6 to 8 months.
There are a lot of people, students, or even the professionals who are already working in IT industry. They want to come into the data science. So what are your suggestions to them, like what kind of a skill set industry is expecting?
So if you had asked me this question 15 years back, my answer would have been that, hey, there are certain coaching centers you can just go, or you can take a break from work, or like take 6 months, slowly learn through books. But today, we can literally learn these things lying in our bed, watching the smartphone, and there are tons and tons of courses. And some of the courses that I have myself learned and upgraded is simply through watching through YouTube. And one of the most interesting aspect here is that newer talent, new college grads, they are already getting upgraded with newer technologies, and they are more agile than the experienced people. So there is a merit in both sides, right? Like if you're a young talent, the one thing that you want to do is do not lose the momentum of learning new things. But if you're an experienced professional, if you would like to get into the data world, there is always easy ways. Just take the first step. Look at what's there in ecosystem. Take one step at a time. If you know nothing about data, start taking simple courses which talks about data statistics, mathematics. Understand how to process data. You may need like 1 or 2 programming languages. I would recommend maybe start off with Python if you feel comfortable. Just understand data. How do you slice and dice data? How do you sum and bring aggregates? That would be a good starting point. After that, since you've already made the progress as the first step, everything else will become easy for you. You will understand the landscape and you can pick and learn. Self-learning is, in my opinion, the best because it comes from you and nobody is going to stop you after that.
So coming to the business and enterprises, still there are some companies, they are not understanding the importance of data, cloud, AI. Is there any message from you?
One of the big things that we see in terms of data cloud, right? So let me first start with data. Nearly every business that we would see, and in future, you're in front of your eyes that you're going to see is any business decision you take is going to be data related, data backed. You're going to talk about like most of the marketing events these days, events or demand generation, bringing marketing funnel is entirely data driven. If you talk about how sales is handling their sales forecasting and how they're actually doing, it's completely data driven. We are only now getting into this, like some of the engineering process and engineering management that we do, right? Be it software or be it into automobile industry. they have started becoming data driven, and their every sensor, like if you think about IoT, all the automobiles these days have come up with software sensors. Like when you're driving, there are sensors which actually talks about how many times like you're actually steering it, how often do you press brakes. So think about the amount of data volume it's getting generated. So data becomes key. The fact that data becomes key, it will push the boundaries on what you need to do with data, how are you doing business decisions, what kind of tools you will do. So one of the key things there is like is the place where artificial intelligence comes. There are a couple of ways you can see artificial intelligence means it's something that is beyond human capacity, or something that is we have some automated way of deriving these insights. That's one way to see it. The other way to see it is we have got a support system of the newer artificial intelligence to augment our regular business life cycle. So we need to adapt into that equation. And for example, we've seen that ChatGPT can come up with like foundational pieces on like on this subject area, right? When we see ChatGPT coming in, there is a lot of talk about prompt engineering, which was never there before. Like if you think about prompt engineering few years back,
a lot of AI related applications, AI related tools are coming up, but business owners and entrepreneurs who don't understand these changes, so what kind of challenges they will face?
Yeah, so they at the outset they'll feel like, hey, where do we start, right? There is this fear.
They
right?
feel like presently we are comfortable handling in data, storing in some of the databases,
and their business will just fade away and they will never be able to expand, right? The second thing is whatever business they do, their partners, any business that you take, their partners are all going to be data driven, and they are going to force you to be data driven as well. I had spoken to one of the pharmacy delivery companies, and where they basically do checks and balances. This is a small pharmacy delivery company, but when you procure pharmaceutical like tablets and medicines, they were completely software driven. So that company has forced this company to go into the data driven world, and now they have got into the world of like, they've started off with consulting because they don't want to immediately jump into like hiring a lot of talent into it. So the best way they they chose is like, hey, we have consulting, we'll figure out the consulting, we'll start with that. But along the way, they also learn how to do this, and that's the way that business can also onboard into this new world.
So nowadays we are hearing AI tool for everything, beginning from writing the mail to generating the reports, generating the presentations. For everything there is an AI tool coming up, and in future many more may come. Using these AI tools, human efficiency will grow, or is it going to come down?
So my take on this is AI is going to be an enabler. It is not going to replace anything. You can give a simpler example. The banking systems of those kinds where to use passbooks, we still use it, but banking systems were using passbook before. Right now, you actually enter into an ATM or even go into the bank, you show your debit card, just tell your number like Paytm, and you tell your UPI code, and that's it, the transaction is done. We have seen our own world when we were younger. We would have stood in line, we would have waited for the first checker to just validate your account, and they'll say, hey, go to the cashier, take the money out. That world is gone. But did it replace everybody in bank? No. All the banking employees have upgraded themselves to use data and handle the same equations differently. Likewise, AI will start enabling people. Even take for an example, let's simple use case of email, right? It's not going to give you the final email that you need. It is going to give you that first 15 minutes that you would have thought of in compiling an email or marketing email or some kind of analytics,
saves time,
and then you can take it forward from there. So it's only going to enable you, and it also requires that we upgrade ourselves. If this is already done for us, what else we can spend our same 2 hours on to do other things.
So anyway, AI is going to help us to grow further.
Yes.
So till now we discussed about the people who want to come into the data industry and the business owners who didn't understand the significance and importance of data science. Now, if we talk about is AI is going to be the dangerous, some of the communities are worrying, even governments are worrying a lot. If it goes to the criminals, if it is goes to the antisocial elements, what kind of consequences we may need to see?
So we've had this concern for a very long time, right? The days when computers came, we've had debates about are computers a boon or a bane. But yes, when there is a tool, you can use the tool to make things. You can also use a tool to break things, right? Take simple hammer, you can do the same thing. Likewise, AI is going to be there. Yes, if it gets in the hands of people who have evil thinking, yes, they could probably enable that to happen. But we shouldn't be worrying about that and stop our innovation and stop our the evolution of how human intelligence is growing in. That will outweigh the negativities that's happening. We should start thinking about what we can do as part of you enabling UI. Can we bring in change in the way in which healthcare can be changed? Can we bring in change in how we talk about education, right? Those things, when we keep innovating, those good deeds will outweigh the negativities that come in play. Of course, we can't run away from it. There should be equally good participation from the government on policy making, governance. Industry ourselves have to come up with good solutions about securing AI, where we can actually use AI and where we cannot use AI. There are a lot of ethical discussions that's happening on how do we keep AI but be ethical on things, right? So those things will come in play. I would love to take it in the positive, optimistic direction that these things will come in play and they will work towards a better future.
Yeah. So finally, you hosted the Data Ops Adaptability Observability conference in Hyderabad, and also given very valuable insights about the data science. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.